Hello, you beautiful person. I just recently got back from a business trip in Munich, and the highlight of that trip was river surfing. Now, if you're unfamiliar with river surfing, basically they channel the river so that it moves really quick in a certain spot, and then they build up, concrete in such a way that it creates a standing wave. And fortunately in Munich, they were really thoughtful about doing this in a very public spot, and it's just created this really awesome space where people can surf and people can come and watch them surf. And it's such a novel thing, like you just don't see it around, and definitely highlight of the trip. And Munich in general is just awesome. Good beer. All the food that I tried was pretty much some shade of brown, but it was all delicious. Anyway, so I have some exciting news to share. I've recently signed a game designer, and I am going to be publishing his game next. So I wanted to provide a little bit of detail about that because since developing Taco Ninja and Words of a Feather, I've always wanted to do some kind of video series documenting the development of a board game. The thing is, I always thought that I would do it at the end, kind of looking back. And after having gone through the process twice, I realized that the narrative that I would have constructed at the end of any given project would not truly reflect the reality of that long process. So my intention here is to, from the beginning, document the game design process to kind of give a picture of what it looks like for me. So here's what happened so far. The Words of a Feather Kickstarter is happening, and several game designers, unsolicited, sent me their one-pager for their games. And, well, this guy actually had two designs. His name's Justin. Justin had two designs that seemed interesting. So I asked him, yes, I'll take a look at one of your prototypes. He sent that over, play tested it, and I said, this really isn't for me. And then he's like, well, I think you're actually going to like this other one. And so he, was awesome and sent me the other one. And it was true. I did like the other one. That second option that I ended up, that we're moving forward with is called Junction. And at a high level, Junction is like this game of code names, a little bit of Connect 4, and a little bit of some other stuff kind of thrown in there. And I'll get into a little bit more of the details of what that looks like in a second. But after I said, yes, I'm interested, part of that process, the next step of the process was signing the contract or developing a contract. And I was pretty clear, the Turn Sideways Games thing that's happening, it is a fun project for me, but it's a lot of work. And the thing is that it's a mixture of work and fun. And the only reason that I do the work is because I have this itch that I have to scratch of having some kind of side hustle outside of work that aligns to an interest of mine. And if I were to take Turn Sideways Games out of my life, I'd ultimately try to fill that with something else. And the activities that happen as a part of game design and running a board game publishing company are net beneficial to me as a human. It affords me the justification to go out and do an afternoon of game playing and play testing with friends. It lets me write off board games that I buy as R&D, which is pretty cool. All that being said, in my conversations with Justin, I told him, listen, this needs to be fun for both of us. Like, I've got two kids, I'm married, those things are priorities along with my job. And this is, after all that. And so this needs to be a fun process. So I need to have a long timeline. And if that's not something you're interested in, totally cool. He was open to it because he said he wanted to partner with me. So we signed a contract. I have 3 years to develop this game. And I'm hoping to be able to do it faster than 3 years. And what I have to do within the next 3 years is launch a Kickstarter and get some sales behind it. And so I'm, again, targeting to do that before the end of 3 years. But that's all in the contract. We got past the contract phase. And so now we are to the point where we're starting to try to figure out what the theme is for the game to kind of, make it a holistic product.
Hello, we're going to be taking a look at the word game, party game Junction. And this is a team-based party game. Each team will give clues to their respective teams in the hopes that they can make a certain pattern on the board. Each of the pairings of every 2 words has a unique identifier. That's 15, scent race is 14. So each combination of 2 words has a unique identifier that's a number on the board. There's a deck of numbers here, and each round will involve one team capturing one of those numbers. So once a team captures one of the numbers, They take one of their tokens and they will capture that spot. So let's say this spot was captured. The goal of the game is to connect 4 of your team's tokens in a way that connects one edge spot of one color to an edge spot of another color. So if I had something like this, for instance, see that L? That's great, that's winning. X4, or even something more complicated, you know, if I had to go all the way down, even though it's more than 4, that still eventually connects the red edge with the blue edge, so that will be fine. And each round, the way the game will work is one team will draw 2 cards from this word deck. The 2 numbers are private to the clue giver, and that clue giver chooses which one of these numbers they want to try to give a clue for the round. You also have some special abilities that are available to you. One of the special abilities you might use is called Draw an Extra Card. To use these abilities, you take one of your team tokens and you place it on the card. It's a one-time per game use. You also have the card Steal. You have to announce that you're using it first. You put your token there. You also make a guess for the spot the other team's trying to guess.
There are these special abilities in the game where you kind of need to be a little quick in order to utilize them, because they involve hearing another team's clue and then quickly blocking, you know, their clue, or stealing a clue, or, you know, doing something with a little bit of intentionality and quick response, which is fun because it keeps each team engaged, right? And that's something that we want to, you know, have as part of the game design. So that element makes me feel like, hey, maybe there should be a captain role in this game. And so if there's a captain, right, or somebody that's has some agency to move quickly and make decisions, that kind of leads it either to like maybe a captain of a ship, you know, be a nautical ship or like a space themed ship. And so we're playing around right now with this kind of nautical theme, but I went to my artist and said, hey, these are the rules. This is kind of the direction that I'm thinking of taking it. Can you please come up with some artwork? And so my wonderful artist Soul came up with these sketches, and so from here I'm continuing to do play testing, but we're going to make some cards up with these, and you know, we have to figure out whether or not we need a board. As I go through the game design, I'm always trying to figure out where can I pull things out, because less is more. You know, how do we make the game as fun, if not more fun, by removing stuff, and anything that we add to it, it needs to really be a net positive and worth the add, whether it's a mechanic or a component. So this weekend, I'm going to go play test with my buddies Jeff and Andrew with Road to Infamy Games. And they are awesome. They always give me good feedback about, you know, directions, be it with theme or with a mechanic, and helping guide me and get me more efficient in terms of doing game design development. So super excited to go play test with them. But that's the big update. I want to keep you posted as we move further along with Junction. If you have any questions about game design and development, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to answer them. And as my daughter likes to say when she's all done with me, bye-bye.